If you're running a retail business, don't let disorganized order fulfillment cause chaos. Use ShipStation instead. From running a business out of your garage to multiple warehouses, ShipStation is ideal for every phase of your growth. Save time with one login for all your stores and by automating tasks. Plus, you'll get the best shipping rates from global carriers. Calm the chaos with the shipping software that delivers. Start a free trial at shipstation.com/audio. That's shipstation.com/audio. Life can be chaotic. If you're running a retail business, don't let disorganized order fulfillment add to the chaos. Use ShipStation instead. With ShipStation, you never have to worry about shipping and fulfillment again. Whether you're running a business out of your garage or you have multiple warehouses, ShipStation is ideal for every phase of your business's growth. Save time with one login for all your stores and by automating repetitive tasks. Plus, you'll save money with the best shipping rates from global carriers. ShipStation's industry-leading features help you deliver a better customer experience. They'll get accurate and faster shipments along with automated tracking updates with your branding. And with up to 88% off UPS and USPS rates and up to 90% off FedEx rates, ShipStation is the fastest and most affordable way to ship. Calm the chaos. Switch to ShipStation today. Start a free trial at shipstation.com/audio. That's shipstation.com/audio.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Mardi Gras edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Hope your Mardi Gras is going well. Weather rolling in here to the Baton Rouge area. Hope everybody is staying safe. If you're at home for the day, enjoy the rest of the afternoon. If you're on the grind today, as we are, we'll get you to the finish line. Appreciate you hanging out with us here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Saints' potential trade targets, including a well-known tight end. Is that something the Saints should get into? We'll get into it 15 minutes from now. LSU and Kentucky from Rupp Arena. Coming up tonight, that's a 6 o'clock tip-off. We'll talk about it at the bottom of the hour. I do want to talk a little bit of baseball right now. Right before we went back on the air, Beck looked at me and says, Hunt, I'm not going to pay attention to you for the next hour because Arsenal is playing soccer. So, Beck, tell me about this soccer game, huh?
It's the Champions League. We're into the round of 16.
Wow.
Yep. Arsenal are playing PSV, which are a Dutch league team.
Dutch?
Yes.
Can't say I've ever heard of them.
No, you probably haven't because I think you probably only heard of like 5 teams. So
let's see how many Champion League teams I can name. Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea.
Chelsea's not in the Champions League.
Man United.
Nope.
Man City.
Yes.
Got a couple. Juventus.
They are actually out. They lost.
Hate to hear that for Juventus.
Yes.
That's tough. That's a tough beat for them.
Yeah.
What about that team that was the upset-minded team that was like a crazy long shot to win it?
Leicester
City.
They are not in the Champions
John
League.
Leicester City. What about the one Always Sunny in Philadelphia owns?
Wrexham.
Wrexham.
They are in the 3rd division of the English league. So
Is that like the Sun Belt?
It's even worse. It's like Division 2.
All right, Wrexham. That's tough for them.
Yeah.
All right, I've given you all the Champions League I got. How do we feel about Arsenal's, the Gunners' chances to get the result today?
They should be pretty good, but PSV has actually been playing well, so it might be a pretty hotly contested game.
Let me give you my keys to the victory for Arkansas.
All right.
Good touches.
Arkansas,
Arsenal, same thing. Red. Got to have good touches. Touch is crucial in this game.
Yes,
absolutely. Got to use your speed up front. That's got to be one of the things that they focus on.
Yeah.
And look, communication between the keeper and the defense, you've got to be on the same page.
Yeah.
If you're going to play at this level, you've got to be able to be on the same page with your defense people. And so that's crucial in the game.
That's a great point, son. Yeah, those are all perfect.
Love to hear that. That's called breaking down footy. It's gonna be a match. It's gonna be on the pitch. They're gonna have the kits on. The boots will be on. It's gonna be incredible performance. So
wow.
I'm excited for that.
Just amazing analysis from you, Hunt.
That's why they pay me multiple thousands every single year to be on this microphone and to give you the good stuff like that. All right, let's talk about baseball. I'll be pretty frank. I'd be just fine if LSU didn't play North Dakota State tonight because North Dakota State is atrocious. Just real bad. Going to be an RPI drain on LSU. I realize that it's just 2 ball games, but let me just run through some results from the Bison this year. They opened up at Dallas Baptist. We saw Dallas Baptist last week. Pretty good team. They lost those 3 games, 11-6. 5-2 and 11-1. Then they went to Beaumont to play Lamar. Will Davis and company lost 10-3 and 13-2. You'll start to catch on to a little bit of a trend here with the Bison pitching. They don't get a lot of teams out. They played University of Texas Rio Grande Valley over in Edinburgh, Tennessee in a 2-game set. They lost 10-3 in 7 innings and then won a game 7-5. That's their only win of the season so far. They're 1-9. Went to Tuscaloosa to play Alabama. 12-4, 9-7, 11-3 were the results in Tuscaloosa over the weekend. I took a gander at the stats page for North Dakota State, the Bison. I counted, let's do this again, make sure our numbers are right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pitchers with an ERA of double digits. And some of them pitch a lot. Logan Knight has started 3 games. His ERA is 9.22. Nolan Johnson has started 3 games. His ERA is 10.8. They've put Leland Wilson out there for 2 games. His ERA is 54. Luke Agnew's ERA, just an inning and 2/3, 32.4. Tate Martin's 25.65. You get the point. They don't have anybody with an ERA under 3 except for Julian Hatcham, who has somehow thrown 3 shutout innings. He needs to be pitching every game for them, apparently. But this stat page is rather depressing from a pitching standpoint. The team ERA for the Bison is 11.1. And did we add that there is a massive amount of wind blowing in Baton Rouge today, and it appears that it is blowing straight out. It could be an absolute launching pad. We might time travel back to 1997 in a couple of hours if LSU and North Dakota State play this game tonight, because there is no pitching on that Bison squad. Offensively, it's not great either. Jake Shafter has been really good for them. He's hitting .436. Davis Hamilton has been really good for them. He's hitting .323. Those 2 guys have been good. They've only combined for 1 homer between them, but they're getting some base hits. Nobody else on the team has really hit at all. .278 is your highest average. They're going to put 4 guys in the starting lineup with batting averages under .207 today if LSU and North Dakota State play this evening. It's a really bad baseball team. They're getting knocked all over the yard by Lamar, Rio Grande Valley, and Dallas Baptist. Certainly are by Alabama, and will for LSU if the Tigers get a chance to play this game tonight. We'll see. I mentioned this in the first hour, but I'll reiterate for those that are just tuning in. There is no plan at this point to play a doubleheader tomorrow. If LSU and North Dakota State cannot get on the baseball field this evening, then they're just going to play 1 game tomorrow and then find a replacement down the road. You can always get Southeastern to come over for a midweek game or something in May if you want to do that. So LSU and North Dakota State will play tomorrow. We'll see about tonight. The plan is right now to play at 6:30. Anything that I'm looking for in this game? Well, certainly I want to see who the starting pitcher was. I gave a long segment at the top of the show today about starting pitching and how I don't want to burn significant arms on most Tuesdays. Now, you got North Alabama coming this weekend. I don't care who they throw today. I don't care who they throw tomorrow. Let them have it. If you want to see Connor Ware or William Schmidt go 5 or 6 innings, fine. That's great. I don't want to do that before an SEC weekend, but you can this time around. But I'm curious how they slot it. I think Connor Ware is likely to go in one of these 2 games. I think the likelihood that he goes somewhere around 90 pitches is not very high. I think they would like to keep him stretched out. I don't think they would like to completely burn him and get him up to the pitch counts that we've seen from the other guys in the weekend rotation that are up now north of 90 pitches when they've got it going. So as far as starter, I'd like to see who's going, and I'm kind of keeping my eye on Josh Pearson right now because it felt like that Jake Brown and Ashton Larson were making a real push, and Ethan Fry has swung the bat well and he hit that home run, but it feels now like they're going to ride a little bit of a hot hand with Josh Pearson. And I'm good with that. And I think that's likely to be what you'll see from LSU from a position player standpoint moving forward. They will play some matchups if they see something in the starting pitcher or maybe see something in a key bullpen guy that you want to be able to account for, whether that's in the starting lineup or if it's going to be coming off the bench in the late innings, they'll still use that. But I think if somebody proves over the course of a couple of days that he is seeing the ball really well, like Josh Pearson did over the weekend where he was the tournament MVP, well, that warrants more time in the lineup. And it can be in the outfield. It can be at the DH spot. They can move those things around. But Pearson's proven over the course of 3 years that he is a good defensive outfielder. And he's certainly a better defensive outfielder than Ethan Fry or Ashton Larson at this point. So I think you're probably going to see a lot of him. That makes Jake Brown in and out of the lineup, and he has actually swung the bat really well. It's interesting because LSU has more capable hitters than they're able to put in the lineup. And when I have asked multiple guys, Jake Brown and Ashton Larson and Josh Pearson, I've asked all three of them now that I think of it, in post games, like, are you okay not playing every single day and then having the opportunity when you do and feeling like you have to take advantage of it, or you don't know when the next opportunity is going to come? And all of them have said the right things. In my conversation with people inside the program, Josh Pearson and Jake Brown are two of the first guys that get brought up when I hear about guys who just want to play for LSU. They just want to help LSU win any way they can do it. You got that same vibe from Will Helmers. You got that same vibe from Cade Beloso. You got that same vibe from Gavin Dugas. Like, it doesn't matter how Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz feel. Now, there's evidence that those guys love LSU and played incredibly hard. They were going to be in there every day in the leadoff spot, on the Friday night spot. They were going to be the dudes. And that's part of being superstar players who are some of the greatest who have ever played. But every really good team needs some guys who fill in different roles that just have a selfless attitude about them. And Jay Johnson has preached that and preached that and preached that in his time building rosters at LSU because he understands how important it is to build depth. And then when you have depth, it means everybody can't play.
American Giant makes great clothing, sweatshirts, jeans, and more right here in the U.S. Visit American-Giant.com and get 20% off your first order with code STAPLE20. That's 20% off your first order at American-Giant.com, code STAPLE20.
O'Reilly. You need parts? O'Reilly Auto Parts has parts. Need them fast? We've got fast. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people. O'Reilly
Auto Parts. So I'm curious how he continues to massage that and how everybody continues to feel about it. But right now, you're getting really good results out of that, essentially that entire crew. Larson started a little bit hotter. Pearson has been hotter of late. Fry has hit a couple of home runs for the first time in his career. And obviously Brown has swung it well pretty much the entire time. So I'm excited for what LSU has there, but I'm also interested in how Jay Johnson handles that moving forward. And he may get 2 more midweek games here to show that in right field, in left field, and at the DH spot where you've got really more bats than you can write on a lineup card at this point. So LSU and North Dakota State set for a game 1 of their 2-game midweek set tonight at 6:30. If anything happens over the next 45 minutes to change the time of that game, we'll certainly let you know. But the anticipation is right now that they will make that game happen on time. So we'll see. That's our LSU baseball report here on this Tuesday. We'll come back. Saints, can they make a trade for a tight end? Is there a former Tiger that does make a lot of sense for the New Orleans Saints? We'll tell you who next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Audio Video Security Solutions, AVSSLA.com is that website. Mitchell Fisher and his team, just phenomenal to work with from the installation to the customer service afterwards. It's been great. And Mitchell Fisher did a number of things for us at the Palmer crib. Put in our new sound system for the television as well as out on the back patio. And they did our security system as well. They can do all that. It's audio, it's video, and it's security, all there in the name. Audio Video Security Solutions. The beauty of working with Mitchell Fisher and his team is that you know you're working with a local company based right here in Baton Rouge that can be there to help you in basically a moment's notice. I give you Mitchell Fisher's cell phone number just about every day, and that's our point person for contact with the company when we have something that we have a question about or have something new we like to look into. We call Mitchell at 225-439-7920. Again, that's 225-439-7920, and he's always available to help us. It's Audio Video Security Solutions. Check out their Instagram, AVSS_BR. Keep in mind, People's Choice Award winner for the best vendor at last year's Parade of Homes during the summer. It's Audio Video Security Solutions online at avssla.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
We'll talk LSU-Kentucky here in the next segment. Tigers at Rupp Arena on Mardi Gras Day. What could go wrong, LSU-Kentucky on Mardi Gras Day, huh? Nothing, a little 31-point comeback in the early 90s. I'm flashing back there. Hopefully LSU has a 31-point lead. I'll take my chances. Another 31-point lead. Hopefully LSU could hold it at that point. Couldn't over the last 15 minutes of that game back in the mid-90s on Mardi Gras Day. We talk Saints here. There's a story that I saw published today that was discussing some potential trade targets for the Saints. John Seigler at Saints Wire penned it, and there were a couple of very interesting names. We'll get to a former LSU Tiger here shortly, but I want to start with Raiders tight end Michael Mayer. Apparently the Raiders at the Combine were shopping Mayer a little bit. He was a second-round pick 3 years ago. And they feel like that they could get some value for him because we know what the Raiders now have at tight end. They went in the first round of the last draft and got Brock Bowers, who smashed all the tight end records, is a rookie and is the future of the Raiders at that position. And that, to me, makes this very enticing because the Raiders are basically moving on from Mayer because he's a luxury. You've already got Brock Bowers. You know who your primary tight end is. If you feel like you can get some value for a backup on your team, well, you can go ahead and do that. This is not a necessity for the Raiders. And so I think it's interesting what the market would demand for Mayer because he's probably a starting tight end at more than half the league, and I would include the Saints as a place where I think he would be your starter at tight end. He has played 25 games, started 20 over 2 years in the NFL. He's made 72 catches, averaged 10 yards a catch, and he's very young. He's going to be 24 years old during this season. So what is he? He's young and cheap. That's exactly what the Saints need. And if the Raiders are just trying to recoup a little bit of value, yeah, I'm okay making a move like that for a guy who doesn't cost a lot, is clearly a talent, a guy they took in the second round that has already produced over the course of 25 league games, and you might be able to get him for a relatively affordable price. I'm all in on the Saints making a move for Michael Mayer. Now, the problem is, if the Raiders get a lot of folks involved and start to drive up the price with a bidding war, well, then I'm probably out because the Saints are not a nice tight end piece away from getting this thing back where it needs to be. That's one of the many things they need to target. So if this is just a situation where the Raiders are going, we think Mayer's pretty good, but we've got that position taken care of. If we can use this asset to get something back that may help us at another spot on the field, I'm willing to do that. And then the Saints could be a fit. If you're going, well, we got 4 teams interested, what's your best offer? Drive that price up, then I'm out. But Mayer is exactly what the Saints need. He's young at 24 years old. He's cheap as a second-round pick from 2 years ago. He plays a position where the Saints probably need some help. I'm all for that if the Saints can make it work in terms of the assets. Another trade partner that Seigler brings up in this piece is a former LSU Tiger. That's Devon Godshaw. Now, Devon Godshaw is not young. He is on the wrong side of 30. He'll play 2025 as his age 31 season. But he is relatively inexpensive. You're talking about a cap hit this year on the final year of his deal before there's an out of $8.3 million. His base salary is $4 million. He's got a signing proration of 3 1/3. Then you've got a roster bonus, a workout bonus, and the cap hit in totality comes out to $8.33 million. That is roughly 3% of the league salary cap. The Saints can swing that. The Saints can take a starting defensive tackle for $8.3 million. And it's only a 1-year deal. And Devon Godshaw does something that the Saints desperately need. He stops the run. He's not an elite pass rusher. He's probably a little bit past his prime years, but he's incredibly durable. 2021, he played 17 games. 2022, he played 17 games. 2023, he played 17 games. 2024, he played 17 games. Now, over the course of those 4 seasons I just rattled off, he's got a total of 2.5 sacks. So he's not a pass rusher, but he averages about 60 tackles a year, and he's really good at stuffing the run. And the Saints were atrocious against the run last year. You're talking about a run defense that was almost at the bottom of the NFL. They were second worst in the league in stopping the run. So if Godshaw can give you 30 snaps a game, can play in running situations, can help Brian Brzee learn how to be a run-stopping interior defensive lineman, I think that's fine. And if you decide at the end of this year that you'd like to keep him around for a couple more years until he's 32 or 33, well, you can have that discussion. But you're not married to that if you make a move to go get him right now. So while I'm not completely on board with the Saints making a lot of moves for 30-plus-year-old players, and y'all know that, I've talked about it at length, this one makes a lot of sense because he's not egregiously expensive, and he certainly brings something to the table that you've been looking for. So I'm for that move if it is available. There are some other names on this list. Titans offensive outside linebacker Harold Landry III is a guy that you think may be able to get after the passer a little bit. He's 28 years old. He's got 50 sacks in his career. That's a skill set that you've been looking for. I don't know how much that would ultimately end up costing you as far as assets go, because he's got more statistical prowess than Mayer or Godshaw, but it's something that you need on your roster. Chargers wide receiver Quentin Johnson. You know the Saints are going to be in the market for wide receivers one way or another. I'd probably rather you try to do that in the draft or free agency, but you're talking about a guy who has played under Kellen Moore, who was there when Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator in L.A., and potentially Quentin Johnson with that big frame might make some sense. In his second season, he had 55 catches for 711 yards and 8 touchdowns. That greatly surpassed his rookie season, so it's a guy that may be onto something there. It's not a great wide receiver class in this draft, so maybe the Saints could be interested there. And the last name was Kenny Pickett. That doesn't do a ton for me. I'm not in the mode of giving away assets for Kenny Pickett. I can get on board with Justin Fields to an extent. Pickett, I don't see the upside there. I think that guy's just a backup waiting to happen, and the Saints are flush with backups at this point. So I'm pro Mayer because he's young and cheap and in a position of need. I'm pro Godshaw, even though he's old, he's fairly cheap, and he's a guy that plays a position of need. I can get on board with the pass rusher depending on the price. Really, as you're looking at trades, it's more so what the outgoing assets are as opposed to what the incoming asset is, because the Saints can't be too much in the mode of getting rid of assets that could be young players. But if the perfect position arises, I can get on board with it. We'll see. These are things that are fun to talk about and speculate about on the front end, but truly can't be properly analyzed until you get to the back end of it. And you see what the return is, and you see what the production ends up being, and you see what the cost ends up being. So Interesting stuff. I read this story up on Saints Wire. You can do so as well. Ross Jackson's got an awesome mock draft up right now on the front page of LouisianaSports.net. Go through all 7 rounds and has some picks there. One of them I absolutely love is Travion Henderson that Ross has in there. But you can check out the entire mock draft at LouisianaSports.net. Remind you, everything we do on LouisianaSports.net is completely free. Get on by and check that out here on this Mardi Gras day. Now, I was in the middle of this Saints conversation looking at some potential options for the Saints to bolster their team, and I got Beck over here doing fist pumps. He's internally yelling and screaming. Must be Arsenal put one in the back of the net.
Already 2, actually.
They're playing obviously a JV team.
It's not a JV team.
No one scored 2 goals in the history of soccer. That's the first time that's ever happened.
It's not. It is. It's not the first time.
It's either 1-0 or 0-0 and PKs.
That's incorrect.
2-0 before the half means they're playing a friendly against the church league team.
No, that's not what's happening. Actually, it's two goals. It's 2.
Well, why don't they just pack up and leave? It's clearly the game's over. That team couldn't score 2 goals if they were out there for a week and a half.
They've had a few chances, actually.
I don't think so.
They have.
Obviously, my keys to the game are being carried out by Arsenal. They are making sure their touches are good. They're using their speed up front. The communication in the back end has been exceptional, and that's how they've gotten here.
The speed up front hasn't actually been the.
How would you score 2 goals?
Well, one of them was actually.
Was it a set piece?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Good. Could
have been a set piece.
Good term usage there. Not a set piece.
Love the set piece.
Yeah, it was not a set piece though. But no, it was not the speed up front. Actually, there's kind of just some good build up play.
Good touches.
That's another term for you, Hunt.
I'm not
build
using
up.
that
Build
one.
up play.
I don't like that one.
That is a good term.
They stopped jumping off sides.
They did not. Yeah, they were not offsides for the 2 goals, thankfully.
Well, they've had some offsides earlier. That is pre-snap penalties. That's lack of discipline.
Yeah, it is. It is lack of discipline. They cannot have that.
Speaking of lack of discipline, well, I shouldn't say that. LSU's had some discipline this year.
Yeah.
Just haven't been great. We'll talk about LSU basketball coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show. You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Kentucky, Rupp Arena tonight. One of the venues in the Southeastern Conference I would like to visit one of these years. I don't have a ton of interest in going tonight, quite frankly. But I will want to go at some point, and I think I will make it at some point. Maybe when LSU is not 3-13 in the league. That's my guess. But they will play tonight at 6 o'clock, and I've got some thoughts on this game. Mark Pope has done a pretty good job with Kentucky in his first season at the helm. They badly needed a shot of life, and he's given them a little bit of that. They're 19-10 on the season. They're they're 8-8 in Southeastern Conference play. They've got some really good wins. They beat Florida at Rupp to open SEC play 106-100. That's that 2-hour window. Watching that game on my couch, I watched it and I went, this is not good. This is not good for LSU. Because I had been watching LSU for 2 months, and I watched that game and I went, that looks different. And I didn't know it was 3-13, probably 3-15 at the end, but it was evident to me that was a little bit different game. And so that was a good win for Kentucky. They went to Mississippi State and beat them 95-90. They played Texas A&M, beat them soundly, beat them by 12 points, 81-69. They went to Knoxville and beat Tennessee by 5, and they beat Tennessee at Rupp by 11. So a sweep of the Vols for Kentucky. Impressive stuff there for the Cats. A couple bad losses. Arkansas at home is not a good loss for Kentucky, and they went to Georgia and got beat by 13 points, which isn't a great loss either. But it's been a good team, and it's a really offensive team under Mark Pope. They run some really good stuff. They get open looks. They're dynamic. They play in transition a good bit. They're fun to watch offensively. They had a tough blow last week. Jackson Robinson, who's their number 2 scorer, came from BYU with Mark Pope, is out for the year. He's got a wrist injury, not going to return, but they've still got options. This is the number 10 offensive efficiency team in the country. This is a team that plays very fast. They're 26th in the country in pace. This is a team that scores a ton of points. They're 4th in the country in points per game. They make a lot of threes. They're 34th in the country in threes made. And one of the things I like about this Kentucky offense that Mark Pope's got them running, they are not in the top 100 in the nation in a percentage of their points they get from twos, threes, or free throws. So they don't rely on any of those more so than the other. And I think that's a really quality sign for an offense. They don't offensive rebound it great. They're 178th in the country. That's good for LSU. And they do a good job of taking care of the ball. But they're good on the offensive side of things. It starts now with basically 2 guys with Jackson Robinson out. It's Otega Owe, who's a transfer over from Oklahoma. He's averaging 15.7 points per game, which leads the team. He is strong as an ox, and he will take the basketball, and he will drive it, and he will drive it, and he will drive it. And he's got 35 pounds on Cam Carter. He's got 20 pounds on Jai Bailey. He's a big, big dude at 6'4", 220 pounds. And when you look at him statistically, he's attempted 262 two-pointers and 65 threes this year. So he shot 200 more twos than threes. That's rare for guards these days. He also leads Kentucky in free throw attempts, as you would imagine. So he's been really, really good for them offensively, and he's going to be a tough matchup for LSU because of how strong he is on the perimeter. The other guy that you have to pay attention to if you're LSU is Kobe Brea. Kobe Brea is the best shooter in college basketball. And I don't say that because he's shooting it well right now. I say that because he's been a walking bucket for 2 years at 6'7" and on the wing. At Dayton last year, he shot 50% from 3. LSU played Dayton last year. He made a 3 with inside 30 seconds to go in the game to tie the game. Dayton would ultimately win that game against LSU. This year, he's lighting it up as well, shooting 44% from three-point range. So over the course of 2 seasons of college basketball, one at Dayton, one at Kentucky, Kobe Brea is shooting about 46% from the three-point line. That is silky smooth. And he doesn't shoot like 12 of them a game. He usually shoots like 6. But you still can't ever leave him. And that makes an offense so dynamic when you've got a wing shooter you just can't leave. And Brea is that dude for Kentucky. As far as LSU goes, here's my thing with the Tigers tonight. The freshman guards have to play better. Like, Curtis Givens is averaging 27 minutes a game over the last 5 games. Victorious Miller is averaging 22 minutes a game over the last 5 games. Jordan Sears is down at 15 minutes per game over the last 5 games. So you're playing those guys significantly more. Curtis Givens is playing twice as much as Jordan Sears. You gotta shoot it better. You gotta make more plays. Curtis Givens is 1 for 13 from the floor in the last 2 games. That's not going to get it done. Sorry, in the last 3 road games he's played. 1 of 13 from the floor. Victorious Miller, over the last 2 games, 6 for 29 for 21% from the floor. These guys have got to play a little bit better. It's a lot to ask. Look, you're going to go up to Rupp tonight, and Kentucky's going to start 4 graduates and a junior. That's Kentucky's starting 5. 4 fifth-year guys and a junior. LSU's going to start 3 true freshmen, probably. Like, that's hard. That's not ideal. In this era of college basketball, that's not what you want to be. But Corey Chest is banged up, and Jalen Reed's out for the year, and Tyrell Ward hadn't played all year, and you've decided you're going to let Givens play over Sears. So you're going to be up there at a huge age disadvantage when you do that. And LSU will be in this game. Rupp's going to be hopping. Kentucky fans are excited about their program, more so than the 8-8 record. It's just the fact that it's not Calipari, and they're not doing things the same old way. No, the results are not incredible, and Calipari did go there and win with Arkansas this year. But Kentucky fans like the fact that they're high flying. They like the fact that they can score. And they like the fact that Mark Pope has injected some life. Plus, Pope is just super likable when he gets in front of the microphone. He's just a likable dude. And Calipari cannot be, especially when he's chastising the Kentucky fans for their expectations or what they do or don't know about his basketball team, which is kind of what he was doing over the last 4 or 5 years there. So I've been told by multiple players, the first was Andre Stringer back 12 years ago, that Rupp is not the most intimidating place to play in the league because it's kind of a bunch of blue hairs, that it's big and it's full, but it's not that loud and they're not that intimidating. It's not like Arkansas, not like Florida. I think right now you could certainly put Auburn in that discussion. It's not quite like that at this point, but it's still going to be 20,000. They still lead the nation in attendance this year. It's going to be full tonight, and LSU will have their hands full with an old team playing with a chip on their shoulder with one of their guys out for the year. It's going to be tall sledding for LSU here, and if there's a reason LSU is a 12-point dog in this game. You've heard me say over the last couple of times that LSU's gone on the road, I can't in good conscience pick LSU against the spread. I would actively pick Kentucky against the spread tonight. Unless that thing swelled up to like 15, I would be taking the Cats. I don't think LSU is going to slow Kentucky down much. And I think Kentucky can make things hard on Cam Carter. And I think the way that Victorious Miller and Curtis Givens have often played on the road, Miller had a good game too back, but have often played on the road, like this feels to me like 88-65. Like that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, and you know, I know you mentioned they don't offensively rebound the ball that well. But they do have two guys that are going to present problems to LSU. Amari Williams is 7 foot 262. He averages 8, almost 9 rebounds a game. He's going to be a problem on the offensive glass. He is. And Andrew Carr is 6'11", 235. LSU doesn't really have anybody that's going to be able to stop them if they do decide to actually attack the offensive glass. Because I even feel like even when we've seen teams that aren't necessarily that prolific offensive rebound the ball, I think that they make it a point to say LSU is not good at clearing the board, so let's attack the glass. So I am worried about Amari Williams and Andrew Carr on the offensive glass, and then just rebounding in general, of course, has been a very bad problem for LSU. So that worries me too.
They were better on Saturday, and they just didn't stop Mississippi State from scoring most times. Yeah. And I think that probably had something to do with why their offensive rebounding numbers weren't that good, because they didn't miss very many shots.
Yes,
hard to get offensive rebounds when you make it. So that's a look at LSU and Kentucky from Rupp tonight. I don't have super high hopes for the Tigers, but I'll be watching. I'll also be at Sports Trivia tonight. It is Mardi Gras, but if you're in town looking for something to do, want to watch the game, you can do so at Pizza by Roan's. We'll be there on Perkins. Always an enjoyable time. We've kind of gotten into a flow the last couple of weeks, and we'll be back at it 8 o'clock. It has been 8:30 for 10 years. If you have ever come, we're at 8 o'clock, Pizza by Roan's on Perkins. Watching the game. I'll be winning some gift cards, drinking some cold beer. They've got wings and some great pizza as well. So come on by and see us. Hopefully the weather is blowing through, and we should have an enjoyable evening tonight at Pizza by Roan's, 8 o'clock for Sports Trivia. Let's come back and close it out. Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show. This is The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Join us at the Louisiana Outdoor Expo at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center from March 14th to the 16th. Head over to the front or back booth and to register for your chance to win a U10 New Canoe, a compact, versatile kayak perfect for fishing and hunting adventures. Visit 1045ESPN.com for details. Join LSU Athletics and the Tiger Athletic Foundation for Bayou Tradition's second annual gala, a Louisiana Saturday night featuring Jordan Davis on the field at Tiger Stadium Saturday, May 3rd. We are giving you on-field access. Register to win a spot at our table at 1045ESPN.com. Support LSU student-athletes' NIL opportunities and reserve your table at lsutaf.org/events. And also you can catch the Pels here on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. They are playing the Lakers tonight. Luka and LeBron at 9:30. A little bit of a late tip-off there on the road in LA. Pelicans coverage is brought to you locally by Industry Makes.
All right, happy Mardi Gras to you out there. Hope you're staying safe in some nasty weather. Just took my first peek outside since we started at 1. Looks a little bit ominous out there in Baton Rouge, but I don't see any significant wind out there. But apparently that is coming. I've been talking about it for the 2 hours, but I know that we've got a lot of turnover, especially on a day like today where people are in and out of their cars on potentially a day off. LSU still on for 6:30 tonight against North Dakota State. If they do have to move that around, they will potentially try to play a little bit later today. Not planning on playing a doubleheader tomorrow, and then North Dakota State will probably be out of the region, so not going to reschedule that one, but you could always backfill a game in a midweek somewhere if you would like to. And LSU can find a dancing partner there that is looking for a game. So still planning on playing at 6:30 tonight, LSU and North Dakota State from the box. You can hear that one on our sister station, 100.7 The Tiger, because basketball will be only on 8.1 tonight up in Lexington. All right, Beck, take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Just take it.
All right, first one here. The Eagles signed Saquon Barkley to a 2-year, $41 million extension, making him the highest paid running back. Take it or leave it?
Take it.
I'll take it.
I think a 2-year deal is good for a running back. You don't want to spend, you don't want to put too many years on a deal, but Saquon's the best running back in the league. He's going to be in his prime for those 2 years. You've obviously proven you've got a team that makes him very, very usable and very effective, and I think that's making your team better. So, yeah, I'm all for it.
And the Giants stink, don't they?
The Giants are not good.
All right, next one here. I saw this actually too. Kyrie Irving tore his ACL in the game last night for the Mavs. I believe they lost. I'm not certain on that, but I'm pretty sure they did because they're losing almost every game now.
It doesn't matter if they lost or not.
But either way, yeah, he tore his ACL. It was pretty crazy to see him actually shoot the free throws after that, though, which was impressive stuff. But Mavs fans have had the worst month ever. Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it. It can't be the worst month ever. Mike Greenberg actually tweeted about that, and I said the Oakland A's fans have had a pretty rough go in the last year because their team literally packed up and moved to a minor league ballpark down the street. That's not great. But this is a bad month for the Mavs fans. I will grant them that. You had a team that went to the NBA Finals last year. You trade a franchise player off of it in one of the most overused terms in the entire sports lexicon.
Generational player.
It's generational player.
He's a generational player.
They actually had a generational player. If you're a Mavs fan, to have that guy, that's like a 20-year run of he's the best you're going to have. And he is gone now, and now you've got a guy you traded for who's already hurt, and the other piece to the puzzle is Kyrie, and he's hurt. Yeah, it's really bad. It's really bad.
All right, next one here. Chasing chickens for Mardi Gras. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to fault the folks down the bayou for chasing chickens. If that's what you want to do, you get after it and you have a great time. I'm just not going to do it.
Have you ever done it before, Hunt?
No.
I've never done it in a Mardi Gras setting, but of course I do have chickens
at home.
And chasing chickens is not a very fun thing to do. They are fast, and it's not easy to catch them.
I want to know what your chasing chickens experience is like. Like, how long does it take you to catch a chicken?
Well, it was hard for a long time, but actually I finally realized, and actually it's my wife who figured it out. We have a bag of like bird seed or like corn, like with corn and mixture, like a snack for them.
Okay.
And figured out that when you open the bag and shake it, they come to you. So
Great.
It's actually not
work smarter, not harder. That's
exactly. That's correct. So now it's been easier. However, there are times when they escape the yard and it is not easy to get them. I usually have like a really long stick that I use to try to like wrangle them around with, but they're fast, so it can be challenging.
Beck chasing chickens. I think that would be a great reality TV show.
It would be fun to watch. If someone was watching, it would be enjoyable.
I mean, we could get a bajillion social media hits on that. Just video Beck trying to chase chickens around.
Maybe so, yeah.
That's next up for the station to figure that out. I think one of the great, I can't think of the word I'm looking for here. It's fascinating to me, is that my cat, Teeny, her life's goal is to get outside.
Yeah.
Like, that is her life's goal.
But once she gets out there,
she doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she doesn't realize that I can't catch her or doesn't care. But she goes outside, and I just immediately walk up, and she doesn't move, and I just pick her up. I could never catch this cat.
Oh, yeah. No way.
50 years would
No
never
chance.
catch the cat.
No.
And I just walk right up and pick her up. And
It's
she
interesting.
she
Yeah.
wants so badly to get outside, and then she gets to the opportunity. She's there, and she won't capitalize.
It's weird. I mean, yeah, my cat likes to be outside, and so I let him out, and he's usually not a problem. But yeah, if he could run up a tree, and I wouldn't be able to get him. There's just no way.
Well, we got another problem that she right when she gets outside, she does want to eat grass, and then she immediately comes in and
throws
pukes.
it up.
Yeah,
Yep, that's
so
what they
no
do.
good.
It is. Yeah, that is a strange thing, but for some reason that is what they do.
That says this is chasing animals talk.
It is
on this Mardi Gras edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. That'll do it for us here on this Tuesday. Lots of action for LSU tonight. Baseball game, basketball game. I'll have post-game stories up for both on LouisianaSports.net. We'll react to them both on tomorrow's show. If you missed any of today's show, you can catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. I gave my thoughts at the top of the show on why I'd like to see Anthony Ianson stay in his second spot in the rotation. You can check out that at the top of the show. LSU football, putting in a package for some mobile quarterbacks that are all going to redshirt. Talked about that. You can find that on YouTube at Hunt on LSU. Glenn West, good enough to give us some time on this Mardi Gras day. Is the ACC still in limbo? That was the end of hour number 1. Then some LSU baseball and basketball talk with some Saints in hour number 2. Hunt on Saints is where you can find the Saints talk. Matt's going to drive you home on this Mardi Gras Tuesday. We're back tomorrow. Same time, same place for the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com. Every single model on the Genesis line, from the entry level all the way up to the highest end vehicle, all of them come with the same baseline safety features because they just don't mess around with safety. It's easy to get behind the wheel of a Genesis and understand how comfortable it is, how stylish it is, all the features that are right there at the touch of a button on your dash. Like, all that is very easy to discern. But also, you have to take into account how safe the vehicles are. And you can rest assured when you're behind the wheel of a Genesis that you're behind one of the more safe vehicles on the road. From the sedan all the way up to the SUVs. Test drive one today. Get on by and see them at Airline and PQ. You may not have been by the store. It is state-of-the-art. It is gorgeous. It's phenomenal. And their staff is wonderful as well. Their brand ambassadors are exceptional to work with. The entire line of vehicles is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. That's GenesisofBatonRouge.com.